crowd's going, break it, break it, break it, you know, because it's the heel, you know, and they're like,
Right.
hey, he just had a freaking strap around your neck 5 minutes ago. Break his arm. So 90% of the fans in these days bought their tickets at the door. So there are all of this mass of people flooding into this arena that holds about 3,000 people. And, you know, this is a terrible, terrible time economically for the wrestling business nationally. But in Nashville, entertainment is like smoking. The Grand Ole Opry is the hottest ticket in town, and the other hot ticket in town is wrestling.
Wow.
And I think Wild Bill Longson drew as the world champion in some cities. But other than that, you know, you got so many wrestlers who are in the war. You know, things are being rationed, and there are a lot of restrictions being put on resources, and a lot of guys are being drafted for the war. So the amount of guys who were even in the business was slim. And so this is where, again, the seeds of Southern wrestling. So the best way, and what's kind of cool is I talk to all these guys from the North that do podcasts, right? And I'm trying to explain to them the difference in Southern wrestling and Northern wrestling. But in Southern wrestling, you got smaller guys who work faster. And it's almost like if you went into any honky tonk in the South, you're going to see a fight. And you're going to have
today.
and you're going to have a rowdy crowd, and you're going to have a band. And the number one rule, if you're in a band in a honky tonk, is never stop playing.
Keep playing.
Yep. Right. If a fight breaks, and a lot of times those bands is behind chicken wire too. We talk about fence matches. A lot of times, you know,
most of the honky tonks I grew up in had chicken wire.
Yeah, because stop the beer bottles, because there's going to be bottle throwing. Well, this bottle throwing started happening at the wrestling matches, you know, and they're hurting people. But that's Southern wrestling in a nutshell. Is you have likable, lovable baby faces and hated heels that are getting as much heat as they possibly could get. I mean, it wasn't any turning down any heat with the crowd. It was, let's rile them up just as much as we possibly can.
Get them right there, baby. Get them right there.
And so these heels like the Green Shadow and Rowdy Red Roberts, they're taking lye soap and rubbing it in the babyface's eyes, or they're pulling sharp objects out from their trunks, or they're driving their knee into the babyface's back coming off the ropes, or they're thumbing them in the eye, or wrapping a string or a strap around the babyface's fingers or in their neck behind the ref's back. All these tricks they learned in Amarillo, they're using. And what's interesting is you've got 2,500, 3,000 people that you are riling up by doing physical things. You know,
so what were they doing in the North, Tony?
There's no interview on television.
There's no television.
There's no television. Everything you do happens at the arena, and you have to do it in front of the crowd, in front of a fairly large amount of people, but they have to see you do it plainly for you to get the heat, right? Pat Malone was obviously a master of it. I'm sorry, Jerry, what was your question?
You described Southern wrestling to a T. What was wrestling like in the North then?
It was just holds.
It was just
long,
boring matches with holds in and out.
Long matches. Yeah, trading punches and long holds and that kind of thing. Where in the South,
Southern was action, movement.
Yeah, it was selling. You know, baby faces had to sell. They had to bump. And heels had to bump, and heels had to be these physical things that you would learn from like vaudeville comedians, where they were on stage and everything they did was physical comedy. And even with Roy's booking, you know.
And, I'm going to jump in here. I've been doing all the show, but I remember back when I was starting there, some of these heels, when they'd have stuff in their ties, they would raise their hand up like
yes,
this.
Yes, they would.
You remember know what I'm talking about, John. Raise their hand up like this, look around, and then make sure the referee is behind them. Then they'd reach down in their tights, make a real exaggerated move, reach down in their tights, come up and hide, actually hide the gimmick under their armpit or something like that till the referee walked back around. So
Jerry, it
Yeah.
was fantastic. You described it perfectly. These guys would look around in the crowd, and then they would go like this, like they'd pull their hand up. That's the hand they're gonna reach with it. They'd look around like that. Then they would start sticking it out like that.
Yep.
Oh my God, it was so great.
That's all Southern wrestling tricks,
Yeah.
you know.
The old guys, you know, when you break in the business and you like that Skandor Akbar and guys like that. I mean, they would still do it, and it was just,
still do
it was just
Skander was a master at it, man. I mean, he really was. But you had to do all these, you know, physical things in front of the crowd. Like, you know, when the babyface would get you in a hole, it'd be like, hey, he's breaking my arm, ref. He's breaking my arm. You know, he had to be really loud, you know, so that the crowd could.
But I can still hear Black Bar. He's pulling my hair.
There you
He's
go.
pulling my hair.
Yeah. And the crowd's going, break it, you know, because it's the heel, you know, and they're like, hey, he just had a freaking strap around your neck 5 minutes ago. Break his arm.